How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews, back with some big beer time. Interesting beer time in the form of Benchtop Brewing. This be their Brown Bear Honeypot, Batch 1. Yeah. This be a Oud Bruin, okay, aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels for 1 year and 100% bottle conditioned with honey. Okay. What are we expecting here? Oud Bruins can range quite a bit based off of, especially when you get in American breweries. I mean, our classic Oud Bruins are quite tight of category, but I've had this varying degree of Oud Bruins from American breweries, from basically soured versions of Belgian doubles to classic kind of Oud Bruins to super fruited cherry version of Oud Bruin. Meh. But you're talking about bourbon barrels, you're talking about maple syrup, and you're talking about honey. A lot of contradictory things going on here. So you're talking about barrel, you're talking about sweetness from that, a little bit of cherry notes. So that would add really well to an Oud Bruin, and I like barrel-aged Oud Bruins. Throw that maple in there, then you add the sweetness. Sure, you're looking at a sour beer, a tart beer, an acidic beer, but you know, that sweetness can counter that off. But once you ferment this with honey, then you start to think about maybe dropping out a little bit more of that sweetness, not getting as sweet, because that enzyme in brute beers that causes them to dry out completely is naturally occurring in honey. So you could go a couple different directions on this. Anything else in this barrel I want to see? 7%. Label it's super cool. It's just this cool bear graphic, iridescent kind of bear graphic in this nice 500 milliliter bottle. And yeah. Let's pop this sucker. See what it's got. This comes actually courtesy of my sister. My sister and my brother-in-law were down on the road in the Virginias. And I believe these guys are in Virginia, right? Benchtop Brewing Company, Norfolk, Virginia. And they were down there, and she's like, would you be interested in one of these? And I said, are you serious? You're asking me if I'm interested in the brewery I never heard about. It's barrel-aged Oud Bruin. Come on. I want to say this costs $12. If my memory serves me correctly. She got me this awesome Ballantine, old vintage Ballantine sign, which you can't see, which is right over there. That was $12.50, and she said, I said, how much? I said $25, so I assume this is like $12.50, $13, something like that. Like I said, label-wise, it's awesome. And it kind of looks the part. I mean, Oud Bruin Smeen, they can be a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, and this is pretty much spot on. Not much of a head there. You wouldn't expect it. Barrel-aged beer, kind of a sour beer. It has this soft kind of what I'd describe as a instant iced tea kind of look to it. You know, your old school powdered Lipton iced tea. This is what you would want to make it look like when you're a kid. Or sometimes you make it a little bit darker because you want it to be overly sweet, but then you got a tummy ache because it was too sweet. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, looks the part. Has a softness to it. That could be your kind of barrel aging kind of involved. Let's see if I can get a nose. Yeah, I mean, there is a soft little acidic kind of vinegar characteristic to it. Nothing too huge, though. Definitely get a sweetness off it. I wouldn't necessarily say that's coming from a maple syrup more than it is just that bourbon barrel in combination with the beer itself. I'm getting a decent amount of oak from this, actually, on the nose. Like a fresh French vanilla kind of oakiness. I mean, it's more oakiness than vanilla, but that's the kind of vibes I'm getting off of it. And honey doesn't really play a part in the nose. Not that honey is an overt kind of aromatic in beers. More often than not is, again, a fermentable sugar. And can add that kind of enzyme that kind of dry beers out. So it doesn't come off as an overly sweet beer. Definitely leans heavily into Oud Bruin, even though you get a little bit of those bourbon vibes, a hefty amount of that barrel. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's tasty. I like that. I like that because when I started this off, I said you get a wide varying degree of what American breweries interpret as an Oud Bruin. This is very much spot on, classic in its kind of core. Sure, you do get a little bit of that bourbon in there, not much. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger based off of the nose. It's there, but very minimal. That oak, on the other hand, is definitely there. Shows up in spades. Not crazy, but it has this nice drying effect to it. It's probably propped up by that fermented honey. I think they're playing in tandem there. And it does have this soft, subtle, tart cherry note to it. Yeah, not overly acidic on the taste. It's genuinely acidic in the beer because I actually feel like I'm getting tinges of heartburn. I just don't get heartburn anymore because I'm on this new medication that just works wonders. And I'm getting tinges of it here. So if this thing's eliciting a little bit of that from that, it has to have a decent level of acidity to it. But it doesn't come off perceptually, actually, in the taste. I like this. Is it blowing me away? Is it the best Oud Bruin I've ever had in my life? No. But I like it. I like it, and it's aggressive subtlety. I know that's an oxymoron, and I'm very good for those when it comes to a lot of complex beers. And that's kind of where this lies for me. You're talking about a 7% Oud Bruin with a whole bunch of shit thrown at it, but it comes off gentle. It comes off like soft in most of its parts, but it has this aggressiveness in other parts. Everything has a rounded edge to it, so nothing comes off sharp. But you could also be rounded yet aggressive at the same time, and that's kind of the way the beer comes off. Very much Oud Bruin forward, and by that I mean it is not getting lost in any of those adjuncts of barrel or spirit. So you're getting that barrel. It's the beer itself, the Oud Bruin portion, that tart, kind of slightly acidic, maybe leaning into apple cider vinegar, but not really getting there kind of level of acidity on that beer is number one in the clubhouse. Second up would definitely be the oak tannins in there. That comes off drying and comes off oaky, not overly so. It's reaching a point where it gets a little bit too aggressive, but no, it's definitely kind of appreciative at the level it's at. That little bit of soft bourbon character underneath that, and then I would say it's more the subtle flabbiness I get from like a honey in combination with that little bit of extra drying that kind of accentuates that little bit of oak coming in last. But it's a fun beer. It's tasty beer. I'm not gonna write home about it. Let's put it that way. But I'm glad I got to try it. So let's talk about it. Is this one of the better Oud Bruins that I've had as of late? It defaults to yes, because I haven't had a ton as of late. But if you lump it into the grand scheme of things, one of the better ones I've had over the past couple years, it's still in the conversation, just not towards the top. Is this one of the better American-made Oud Bruins I've had as of late? It creeps up a bit higher in that case. Like I said, I don't know, something about Oud Bruins, and this is just a guess from me. Okay, I'm not taking this as a fact, but almost seems like to me like a lot of breweries kind of make like barrel-aged Oud Bruins in the United States, and a lot of them are trying to make like a Belgian dark or a Belgian double, and it goes sour, so they say fuck it, and they bottle it anyway. Again, that's just me throwing shit at the wall, and I think you can taste the difference when that's the case. That's not the case here, so this tastes very purposeful, very meaningful, just a really fun beer. So yes, it's one of the better American ones I've had. Valued availability, like I said, I think it was $12, $13. I assume brewery only. Well, at this point, COVID times, nothing's brewery only really. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like classic Oud Bruins, you want a little bit of subtle American twist on it, and you like that kind of roundness that barrel aging brings that you don't see a ton of Oud Bruins. You know, that it's not going to scream at you with that spirit or barrel or honey or maple. But it all adds a character to it. I didn't even really talk about the maple that much. I think it's a sweet component that's probably needed. That isn't upfront, but it adds this little bit of sweetness that keeps it from getting too tart and too acidic and too sour. So take that for what it's worth. But if those are the things you dig in your tart sour beers, you'll like this. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down here if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. You want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of Benchtop. Did I remember it? I did. I thought I was going to forget it completely. Brewing right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers.